Hey there, I'm back, y'all. Apparently this is part 2. I always find it interesting when they have me crop, edit, or cut a video because of a door knock or an interruption or something of that sort. It's synonymous with life, I gotta tell you. And in that, they had me go back and listen to what was being said at the tail end just so I could get back into the flow. And there was a revelation of the true heart, and so go get the True Heart Tarot deck, okay? So let's take a little bit of a look at that. I do see that we've got 2 knights coming on in, Knight of Wands and Knight of Pentacles. Self-supporting in the synergy, and the synergistic union is what they're talking about here. Awakening the light within, the passion in your heart. When it's talking about you being the light bulb, it's that enthusiasm, that childlike nature, the inquisitiveness, curiosity, those type of things, passion rolling through us. And that is a hallmark of love. And it doesn't just mean people, y'all. It could be about anything. That's a lot there. Okay, so here's what's hiding underneath your porch. And then we'll get to the porch if we need to, but let's look. 2 swords. How do you bring it all together? Take your world with you. Seeking power and protection. Clarity of mind. I hear do a jig. Do some dancing. Expressing of yourself, because this Jupiterian energy showing up here is talking about the need to express yourself, express your feelings. There's a bit of blinders being on here, incongruency, kind of like the energy of the heart, but we were talking about that heart energy, heart light coming on here. How do you meld and bring it together? How do you trust yourself in this world? How do you develop patience without practicing patience? Is that kind of thing. It's like, how do I express myself without the risk involved? So that's the thing hiding under the porch, is the risk. Okay, so let's look at the porch. We're going to see if this maybe fleshes out and answers some of the questions that gives you a foundation to stand upon, or if it's something that is shrouding and clouding you. Okay, friend? So, and I do like that they broke these down into parts. They take it into bite-sized pieces, and they're just going to have me spread it out over a few days, okay? Like a to be continued. All right, on the porch, 8 of Wands, Queen of Cups, and the Emperor. It's a fantastic foundation. So they're talking about these being deep-seated fears, but it's also, if you go down with the right tool, you can singularly pluck them up and lift them out and not damage or destroy or harm any of what has been growing inside of you that is supportive. Bone Collector's talking about nurturing, joy bringing, that type of energy going on there. So this will, they have no basis in truth. Okay. Now, if there's fear or trepidation about it, our energy will go out and find things to back up and to prove that energy. It's not going to waste it. If we're in that heightened experience, it's going to bring heightened experiences to us. But this is saying, that to be downplayed, and the fact of knowing what foundation you have to stand upon. You shed that like a caterpillar. When they shed their skin, they leave the old skin behind and move forward in the newness of life. That's kind of what they're talking about here. But it's talking about that quickness. This is like mental telepathy, the power to move mountains, the power to make the way where there is no way. I love it, because wholeness is still sitting up over here on the sidelines. It's kind of, this began to swirl and make an eddy and form its own little pocket in the river when a particular reading was coming out. I just check energy sometimes before I even start to see what is the feel of who's showing up and that type of thing. And so it just kept depositing itself and moving on over here. And one thing that led it to drive in all the readings we've been having about the sun, the bone collector, that type of thing, that I am. Well, this is having to do with the way. The way. Look at this. Clearing the power of your mind and the energy surrounding it. This is your space, your mental space, your world. And this isn't what you see will come into being, okay? What you imagine, that type of thing, if you've been in a rut of having to protect yourself. This is like the light of day, the truth of who you are, because those are the stars emanating out from deep in your soul seat, moving on up through all the layers of the brain, the entire universe going on here, and being made quick. I love it that there's buds on the branches that even though they're cut off, they're living word, living thought, living truth. So that means they are life supported because they got life in them. Let life shush on in. Let life come on in and bless you and what life. This is a life from beyond your world. Look at the Emperor. It's grand. It's extensive. They're saying it's like Galaxian, saying it's even a measure larger. It is a whole new ring, a whole new dimension, a whole new world that you begin to experience beyond the rich one that you've already had. Taking you into the wealth, taking you into sorting out like the wheat and the chaff, but this is like the marrow from the bone, the soul from the spirit type of thing. Okay, so that what remains with you is inherently you, cleaning out all the debris. Okay. And then we have the Queen of Cups coming on in, lifting up that celebration, because remember we had the Ace of Cups over here. Look at this, because this is really trying to rectify the gut of what you've experienced between what you hope and dream and what you've experienced. Okay, the once bitten, twice shy type thing, that's along the energy of what we had going on here. And so these cards throughout this understanding that in the foundation is good and healthy. There's just been a bit of experience that is of betrayal that keeps betraying your spirit. So he's come along kind of very much a Chiron type of energy. Very much. And the four angles, the celebration of the four angles as well, to bring back in the balance to these energies, especially during this time of Scorpio, or irregardless of when you show up, these are timeless, but we're talking about the energy of Scorpio, which is really what is heading up this whole next calendaric year. They're kind of like the favor of it, okay, or the favorite energy, and we're all the whole zodiac, remember that, okay? So getting into the power of our presence, of our position, and that's what's coming along here, because those are the feelings, the Ace of Cups. This is tying in Aries energy, Chironic energy, the development of the self. So this is very intrinsic to who you are, returning you to your nature from the normal that you've been expending your life force in. They're taking you into the natural. So that's what this Queen of Cups is doing. It's natural for you to want to celebrate, to appreciate, to give thanks, to honor that type of thing. And this whole new high heart is returning the connection to the world beyond and the abundance and fruit, the wealth that comes from it. The wealth is the fullness of that connection. The wealth is that security, that peace, that ease, that calmness, that love, that knowingness, that joyfulness, that ease of being unhindered, unabridged, that type of energy coming on through here. The calm, cool, collected type thing, and not for the eyesight of others, but to be in resonance with oneself. Absolutely love that. Okay, so with the Knight of Pentacles, we're going to go on down and see what's been sitting underneath this, which has a lot to do with this being underneath the porch. This is like the energy sitting there, and it's interesting because when this happened, Red Garnet, I was cleaning things up from other reads, and cards began to, if you were here and you watched, like if I had a way to talk and to show, things fly. But then if you didn't see me and you just saw them fly, you would just think it was something normal happening. But when you have the whole thing going together, it's totally wild when it happens. So Red Garnet came in, which is one of adherence, of strength, of, I'd say standing your ground, but really sticking to your ground, really ownership, identifying with, I could say possessing, but this has to do with the land. And so this is something that's shared, that is a relationship that we have. But needless to say, the ground that you walk on is volunteering for you. It's like, I'll be your red carpet. I'll be the witness to all the love that you've poured forth, and many of you spilled forth in this lifetime. You were just kind of shoved and uncted and unsure of where you're going. And that's why Bone Collector, she's sitting over here with the theme readings that I'll be doing when these finish their talk. but she showed up to resonate and really show you that joyous embracing and embodiment in your spirit, that irregardless of how much time has passed or what could seem to have been lost, that there's new birth, new life coming forward. It's like a power button, but not like we know here on Earth. It's kind of like in a ship or a spaceship, something that has activation and thrust. It's kind of like a all systems go, that once you touch the one button, it creates this sequence of events, more than just dominoes, because we're not talking about falling, pushing, shoving, okay, leveraging some of those energies. This is more the synergizing, the intelligent moving of them going together instead of the moving of the intelligence. And that came in to support the lovers. I hear two hearts that beat as one. Okay, we could dub Lionel Richie over me right there, but if not, just do it in your mind right now. Okay. Smooth, mellow. That's what we're talking about here, smooth and mellow. This is the honey and the nectar of life, okay? The milk and the honey. The milk has already been spent, in the sense of like, the Big Dipper effect is that we have two seasons, one of sowing and one of reaping. In this case, the milk was showing up as almost like, what have you mothered? What have you nurtured? What have you loved out of the pure heart of, for one, your convictions, your morals, your ethics, and your mind, and also that of love and compassion for another being, of responsibility, that type of thing. But being led by the Spirit, like children are here to be our teachers. Well, this experience that you've had has come in like that. And now the honey's coming in to mellow and to soothe and to smooth. A lot of times we think of honey as something very sweet, but it's also incredibly medicinal and therapeutic. So that's what is coming in, is the fullness of life, the full measure, the full circle, the aha moment, the epiphany is what you're talking about here. The epiphany that life is here, ready for you to stand up on your porch, take ownership, more than just responsibility, ownership, because responsibility is the ability to respond. Ownership is that initiation. It's that turning, the initiation, the motivation. They're talking about when your wheel moves, that you initiated it. So you might want to go back and listen to the one that talks about the mystical light language coming in of Leo. But it's about putting your horse in front of your cart, in front of your chart. And the horse is you, your power, your empowerment. And I love that we're stepping into Sagittarius era is what they're talking about. Okay, so this year, Scorpio is the gateway into the new year. For those of us who are ready for the momentum, for the dials of life to keep coming on, the spirals to be working, and to have the nuances and the layering and depth and wealth. All right, so I'll say I'll get back with you, but I most certainly will. It looks like to me like we have 2 more parts coming up, okay? So this was part 2 of what looks to be 4. Also, if you're still here, you could click that subscribe button down below. It's free as always, and they'll let you know anytime I post new videos, which you cannot find like this anywhere else, okay? And then you can also tickle that like button. Just pat it on the head, poke it like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I don't know. Show that you like it here. All right, and that gets YouTube all excited. They'll show this video to others and get the message out. So for now, I'll talk to you in part 3 comes around. Bye.